This is Bushy Park. This is what it comes down to. This is the finale of the Suzuki SR3 Cup, the final to the Summer Series at Bushy Park. The quiet before the storm. Behind me, preparations being made as we get ready for another day of exhilarating racing. This is what it comes down to. Everything is on the line. Who will reign supreme today here at Bushy Park?
Sean Maloney has moved from third to first with 271 points, now ahead of brother Stuart and the other brother Mark there in third place. From Guyana, Mark Vieira is fourth, looking to improve in these final races. Ryan Gonzalez of the St Vincent and the Grenadines is in fifth place. David Simpson is sixth, and joining in for the first time in competition tonight is Ori Hunt.
This is about as close as I will get to one of these machines in terms of putting it on the track. But you know what? You can watch all the action right here at Bushy Park when we come back. The action never stops here at Bushy Park. Robin Bradford is next.
So for the Summer Series finale, we've got Sean Maloney and Mark Vieira on the front row, Mark Maloney and Ryan Gonzalez on row two. It's going to be a tight race. These are shorter races than they normally are. Row three has got David Simpson and Stuart Maloney, and Ori Hunt in the Digicel car is standing in for Doug Maloney, who raced earlier in the day. Round 6, race 1 gets underway. A good start for Sean Maloney in the yellow Radical SR3, Suzuki powered, of course, these open top sports races, and the first time that they have raced in the dark. Not all are fitted with headlights, but there are LED bars across the top just so that they can be picked out as they storm around the 2.01 kilometre-mile Bushy Park Barbados circuit. So Sean Maloney having made the best of the start and the first few corners, and he gets a little bit more ground between him and the rest of the field. Mark Vieira running wide on the exit of the W's there, kicking out the dust, almost but not quite losing a place to Mark Maloney. However, he has lost significant ground to the race leader Sean. Mark Maloney in the stealth grey Radical there in third place, harrowing away behind the Guyanese driver Mark Vieira. He is about 8 lengths or so adrift at the end of the opening lap of early leader and now championship leader Sean Maloney, who looks as though, if he just keeps his head down, concentrates on his lines, he may well be able to relatively easily pull away from the rest of the pack. Down past the Automotive Art Pits complex, looking behind there, that battle for second place, the black car of Mark Vieira. He goes too deep into the corner, and that opens the door for Mark Maloney, and Mark Maloney is not going to miss an opportunity like that. So through he goes up into second place. Now, is he going to be able to use the rest of this 10-lap race to cut down the gap between himself and brother Sean, who is leading? Closely bunched towards the tail end of the field there as well, with Ori Hunt at the right at the tail in 7th place, tucked in behind Stuart Maloney. We move on to half distance, and we can see 1 or 2 changes there. Ryan Gonzalez under some pressure there in number 4 from Stuart Maloney, but Maloney hasn't been able to find a way past him yet. But having said that, just as we see them at the W's, diving up on the inside goes Stuart Maloney, early championship leader in this first summer season of the SR3 Cup. Well, he's moved himself up 1 place, but he's still a long way adrift of his 2 brothers, Sean leading, Mark in 2nd place, having now put a sizable gap between himself and 3rd place Mark Vieira of Guyana. On to the final lap of the race, and bit by bit Mark Maloney has chipped away at the tarmac between himself and brother Sean ahead of him. It was 8 or 10 lengths or so earlier, and it's down to probably just a couple of lengths as they come into the final 2 turns. They're through the Cockspur Cyclone, the last right-hander of the lap, but it is Sean Maloney who wins. So we see there confirmation of the result. Sean Maloney picking up another 25 points. Brother Mark is second. A good result there for David Simpson in third place. Ori Hunt is fourth. Mark Vieira fifth. Ryan Gonzalez in sixth place. And Stewart brings up the rear.
Started in seventh. Got past 2 guys, but one guy, but lost brakes. The end result is I lost brakes and had to come back in.
A friend of mine by the name of Lewis Hamilton has this saying called hammer time. At the start of the race, I gauge where Mark is because he's normally right behind me. And when I see the need to open the gap, I do something called Sean time, similar to hammer time. The only thing I can tell him is maybe try Sean time next time out there.
Sometimes he's delusional. So he was fortunate in that first race.
Let's see what happens after this race. He's starting in front of me. Take a picture of my car before this next race, please, and see what it looks like, because he's starting to talk dirty.
How he can hit you? Yeah, you're delusional. He's starting in front of you. The only way I can hit you is if you get past me. That's impossible.
And as the action continues to heat up here at Bushy Park, we need to cool down for a moment. Let's take a break.
Nice car. When are you gonna let me drive it? One condition. I love this song. Turn it up. Is that better? I think you're missing something. Is that better, sir? I think we might be late. Better step on it. You go park the car.
Man and machine tested to the limit. We are back at Bushy Park. Motor racing continues.
The second grid of the round, always the reverse of the results of the first. So Stuart Maloney and Ryan Gonzalez on row 1. Mark Vieira and Ori Hunt line up behind them on the second row of the grid. David Simpson and Mark Maloney are row 3. On his own at the back, the championship leader, Sean Maloney. Oh, and now, was that a jump start there from Mark Vieira? It's not for me to judge that, and then there's very nearly contact as they all hammer down into the hammer, and this time it is Stuart Maloney from Ryan Gonzalez who has made the best of the start. Now, in car with Sean Maloney there, we see that very near contact directly ahead of him off the start line, but no damage done to anybody, and it's Stuart Maloney from Ryan Gonzalez from Ori Hunt as they go through the W's for the first time, with Marks Maloney and Vieira. Maloney just easing ahead of Vieira there up into fourth place at one of his favourite overtaking points on the circuit, and he's not satisfied with fourth place. Mark Maloney driving under Ryan Gonzalez through the courtesy dipper, and has he picked up third place? Yes, he has. Gonzalez now coming under pressure, the San Vincentian being pressured by the Guyanese driver Mark Vieira, and tucked right in there behind them too is Sean Maloney on this opening lap out of another 10-lap race. Couple of lengths advantage as Stuart Maloney leads across the line onto lap 2, down through Shack they go there, chased by Ryan Gonzalez, Mark Maloney. Ori Hunt still there in the leading group as well, getting some race experience in the Radicals, having been one of the team that's been responsible for running all of these cars here at Bushy Park. Ori, of course, a former kart champion, and Maloney does it again at the W's. He's on the inside of Ryan Gonzalez, carries some excellent momentum through, rides to the outside of the track as they head up and over Millbrow. So Maloney it is now up into second place as Stuart Maloney leads. Mark is second, third is Ryan Gonzalez. Then it's a bit of a gap before we see fourth place Ori Hunt and the rest of the field filing through. Good battle there also between Sean Maloney and David Simpson, who's improved significantly over this first ever season of racing for the newcomer. now really up to battling with the far more experienced drivers. On lap 4, Mark Maloney has now scythed down that gap between himself and brother Stewart. There were 5 or 6 lengths in it. It's now down to little over a length of a Radical SR3. In fact, 3 decent battles going on here. Stuart Maloney and Mark at the front of the field. And then next up is the battle between Ori Hunt, who's now got ahead of Ryan Gonzalez and therefore up into potentially a podium position. And then behind them, the other 3 have been battling closely away as well. Mark Vieira now with the advantage over Sean Maloney and David Simpson. So just before half distance now, potentially either of Stewart or Mark Maloney at the front end of the field, potentially the winner of this race, but still some way to go. We pick it up again on lap 6, and we see Stewart and Mark still battling away. The gap pretty much the same. It's 2/3 of a second or so between the leading pair. Ori Hunt edging closer towards them in third place now, having firmly shaken off Ryan Gonzalez. In the background we saw running wide there was Sean Maloney. That's cost him a couple of places, and he's now down right at the back of the field. Coming through the Banks S is another strong part of this circuit for Mark Maloney, and he's got the gap down to less than a length now as they come out of the courtesy cyclone at the end of lap 6 and on to lap 7. Are we going to see a change in the closing stages of this race? There's the favourite manoeuvre on the inside of the W's, but this time Stewart manages to close the door very firmly in brother Mark's place. You just ride at the tail end of the field here for a moment or two with David Simpson. That's the point at which he got ahead of Sean Maloney. Into the courtesy dipper go the leaders, and Ori Hunt is now only 2 or 3 lengths behind second place Mark Maloney. He's made up good ground on that 7th lap. Obviously the battle between the brothers ahead of them is taking up all of their concentration, so they're probably not that aware of how much ground young Ori Hunt has made up on the pair of them. Mark Maloney is all over the back of his brother Stewart, looking to the left, looking to the right. Is he still doing it as we pick the race up on the final lap? He's dropped back a little bit, I'd say, perhaps a length, 2 lengths further behind. Possibly all of those slightly aggressive manoeuvres, possibly having taken their toll on a bit of tyre wear there, perhaps, for Mark Maloney. But I would say with only half or so of this final lap to go, this race looks very much as though it is going the way of Stuart Maloney. Down towards the courtesy dipper they come. Mark Maloney closes up a little bit. A rather lonely third place now is Ori Hunt in the Digicella SR3. Maloney again, Mark that is, closing right onto the tail of brother Stewart as they go through the Seasash hairpin onto the Cockspur Cyclone, clips the curb, that unsettles the car a little bit. So the second victory of the night goes to Stuart Maloney from brother Mark, with Ori Hunt in third place. Confirmation then of the results of round 6 race 2. Stuart Maloney winning from Ori Hunt. Mark Maloney having been penalised for a jump start, so good result there for Ori. David Simpson finishes 4th. Mark Vieira, Sean Maloney and Ryan Gonzalez complete the finishes.
Every time we thought Big I's gonna last.
I told you guys about delusional. Look, the man is right now, he's even going into, look, he has fits. Look at him. He might even has fits now. Right?
Mechanics did the job. The brakes did fade towards the end. Another lap and I would have been out, but there wasn't another lap because the mechanics, the engineers always, I mean, without them we just can't get it done. And grateful for them, grateful for the guys that travel over the Atlantic to come here. Big up them.
It's motor racing at its best. It is the Bushy Park Racing Circuit. We're going to break and we'll be right back.
I feel the sun on my face, and on this day, take me far away. Yeah, I got things. Yeah, I got things. And lift me up.
The fun never ends in the family room. The new Suzuki Ertiga. It's much more than a car.
Suzuki, way of life.
And as they say in boxing terms, let's get ready to rumble.
So for a 6-lap race, the shortest in the history of the SR3 Cup, Stuart Maloney, Mark Maloney start on row 1. Ori Hunt and Sean Maloney are on the second row of the grid. David Simpson, Mark Vieira, row 3. Ryan Gonzalez at the tail end of the field. That grid based on the points scored in the earlier 2 races. A clean start from all 7 of the runners for the last round of the SR3 Cup Summer Series. Stuart Maloney leads into the hammer on this first lap. Everybody trying to occupy the same piece of the Bushy Park tarmac. Very closely bunched on this opening lap. Of course, all these cars are identical, the difference being the experience of each of the individual drivers. It's Mark Maloney there in second place. Ori Hunt is third. Over Millbrow they go on this first out of 6 laps. Everybody cleanly exiting the W's. Almost a touch there at the tail end of the field. David Simpson as he eases past Guyana's Mark Vieira and up into 6th place. Battle for the lead is being fought from the very start. 6 laps at the lap times that these cars do, round about 6 minutes or so. And so everybody's got to be absolutely on it from this opening lap and nailing it as they go. Stuart Maloney leads. Mark Maloney is second. Ori Hunt is third. Sean Maloney is fourth. Ryan Gonzalez is in 5th place. Through Shack they go, one of the traditional corners from the 1970s Bushy Park, although of course the old circuit was totally dug up, completely new foundations, and of course widened to 30 metres. Now down into the W's on lap 2. Still it is Stuart Maloney leading, doubtless watching his mirrors, that being the favourite overtaking point of his brother Mark, and no successful manoeuvre by Mark yet, but he is right there, putting brother Stuart under as much pressure as possible. Ori Hunt under pressure from Sean Maloney. Ryan Gonzalez waiting for that battle ahead of him to end in tears so he could perhaps pick up another couple of places. Sean Maloney is through. A very good exit at the Bullet there, carried him with good momentum past, and here we see it in car with Sean Maloney. Dives up the inside of Ryan Gonzalez, heading towards the Banks S's, and he's through by the time he gets there. Coming to the end of the second lap, still it is Stuart from Mark Maloney now, with Sean making a Maloney podium potential. We go to the final lap of this 6-lapper. No change in the podium positions. The Maloney brothers, Stuart from Mark, from Sean, are in that order as they head up over Millbrow. Surely this is on its way to being Stuart Maloney's second win of the night, but Mark Maloney is suddenly right there with him. I don't know where he got that extra surge of power coming over Millbrow, but he was alongside his brother Stuart even before they were braking for the courtesy dipper, and it looks as though he is going to take an easy win, but Stuart closes again as they go through the Banks S's onto Seasash Hairpin and up towards the final lap of this last race in the Summer Series, and over the line he goes. Mark Maloney wins from brother Stuart from Sean, one of the closest finishes of the top 3 cars we have seen all through this summer season. Confirmation then of the result of the last round of the Summer Series. Mark Maloney from brother Stuart and Sean making up the podium. Ori Hunt, Ryan Gonzalez, Mark Vieira and David Simpson all also finishing in a season which has seen very little, if any, serious mechanical attrition. So at the end of the year, it is Sean Maloney who wins the Summer Series from Mark Maloney and Stuart. Mark Vieira, David Simpson, Ryan Gonzalez complete the top 6. And other drivers who have not completed the whole season: Alan Kint, Jory Hunt, Kurt Thompson, Doug Maloney, Bradley Ellis and Simon Jean-Joseph complete the table, with Barry Gale and Jim Parr finishing equal 13th.
I think it's fantastic racing. It's very close. It's very affordable. It's very tight. Unfortunately, I didn't win, so I'm feeling a little upset. But other than that, looking forward to the Winter Series coming up. We can be running that. Hopefully, we get some more cars. But I mean, I think it's a great start, and it's very exciting. I had a really good time, especially night driving. I like it.
At the traditional prize giving, the winners of the day: in third place, Sean Maloney; second is Stuart; and today's winner on points is Mark Maloney, addressing the throng there. But as far as the Summer Series is concerned, the winners are, in the Swift Cup, David Somerville Jr., and in the SR3 Cup, Sean Maloney.